Public Library. My name is Miss Maribel, and I hope you're doing well. Friends, what do you think are famous for this week? Any ideas? If you guessed spring, you're right. Our theme for this week is spring. Our first book is called When Spring Comes, and it was written by Kevin Hinkes. Before spring comes, the trees look like black sticks against the sky. But if you wait, spring will bring leaves and blossoms. If you wait, spring will make the leftover mounds of snow smaller and smaller and smaller until suddenly they're gone. Before spring comes, the grass is brown. But if you wait, spring will turn it green and add little flowers. If you wait, an egg will become a bird. A seed will start growing. Spring comes with sun, and it comes with rain, and more rain, and more rain. Because plants and grass and everything needs water to grow, right? So that makes sense. Do you like mud? Do you like puddles? I hope you like umbrellas. Before spring comes, the garden is just dirt and empty. But if you wait, spring will push green shoots through the dirt to fill up the garden. And spring will call out the pussy willows and new kittens too. Spring can come quickly or slowly. It changes its mind a lot. But when spring is finally here to stay, you will know it. There will be buds and bees and boots and bubbles. There will be worms and wings and wind and wheels. You will feel it, you will smell it, you will hear it. When spring is finally here to stay, you might think you are done waiting, but you are not. Now you have to wait for summer. The end. Yay! All right, friends, our last book is called Hooray for Happy, and it was written by Tim Hopgood. And this book is about the 5 senses that we use to see if spring is here. So we have our sight, hearing, taste, feel, right? So 5, eyes, sight, smell, taste, touch, and hear, right? 5. So let's see how we use those 5 senses to look for spring. Hoppy woke up bright and early. He wiggled his nose and sniffed the air. Perhaps today's the day, he thought, but as he hopped to the top of his hole, he saw that the world was covered in snow. Ooh, too cold, he said, and he hopped back to bed. The next morning, when Hoppy hopped to the top of his hole, his nose felt cold and the grass felt crunchy. Too icy, he said, and he hopped back into bed. A few days later, Happy woke up much earlier than usual. Perhaps today's the day, he thought. Happy twitched his nose. The air smelled fresh. Perhaps today really is the day that spring arrives. So he smelled the air. So Happy hopped down the hill to see if it was true. Hooray, said Happy as he heard the birds singing. It sounds like spring has sprung. So he smelled the air, he saw the trees and flowers, and he heard birds. That's 3 senses. Hooray, said Happy as he sniffed the pretty flowers. It smells like spring has sprung. So there's the flowers. Hooray, said Happy as he watched the lambs in the meadow. It looks like spring has sprung. Hooray, said Happy as he nibbled the fresh green grass. It tastes like spring has sprung. So he looked, he heard, he smelled, he tasted. That's 4 senses. Hip hip hooray, said Happy as his feet touched the warm ground. It even feels like spring has sprung. And there is our 5th sense. Today really is the day, thought Happy. He couldn't wait to see his friends. But when he reached the top of the hill, nobody was there. So he thumped his back feet as hard as he could and as loud as he possibly could. So he went. I think he's letting his friends know. Look, there they all are out of their burrows. Hooray, shouted all the rabbits as Happy leaped in the air. Spring has definitely and most wonderfully sprung. The end. Yay! All right, friends, are you ready for our craft? All right, let's go. Hey guys, so this week we're going to be making a spring tree, and what we're going to do is we're going to need, first of all, a white cardstock paper, and I say cardstock because we're going to be gluing stuff on it, so it needs to be thick enough and strong enough so that it doesn't bend. And so for that you're going to need white cardstock. And then I'm going to put this tree template in the Google Drive folder where I put all the templates for this craft video and other past craft videos. And then what you want to do is print it on brown paper, and it could be construction paper, cardstock, or you could just do it on white and color it brown and then cut it out. We could do that too. If you don't have brown cardstock or construction paper, you can print it on white paper and color it and then cut it out like we're going to do eventually. For this spring tree, you can use, it's almost like a collage. So you could use just about anything: string, buttons, sequins, foam stickers, tissue paper, pom-poms, stickers, crayons. You can use just about anything, colored pasta and whatnot to decorate your tree. What I'm going to use is flower sequins, some foam stickers to kind of embellish around my tree, not necessarily in my tree, tissue paper squares that I've pre-cut in shades of green, also buttons, and the circular large sequins. I might not use everything, but I want to have it on hand for when I do my tree. You're also going to need glue stick, scissors, and I'm using this crayon because I need it for the tissue paper, and I'll show you guys later why. So you do need to have like a kind of round, a little wide round object. It could be a pencil, it could be a crayon, just something that's a little wide and circular to use. So the first thing we're going to do
is we're going to cut our tree. So I might speed through this because it's going to take a little while I go through these little really intricate branches. If you need to pause while you cut yours out, go ahead and hit the pause button. And when you're ready to move on to the next step, go ahead and hit play. Like I said, if you don't have brown construction paper to print this tree template on, go ahead and print it on a white cardstock or paper. I would suggest cardstock because paper, it might tear when you're folding it, you know, around to like cut. You could go ahead and print it on white and then color it brown and then go ahead and cut. So let's go ahead and cut our tree first. Alright, so we have our tree, and if you guys remember, I gave you guys a little tip that I use. And that's when I cut around, when I have a dark outline, sometimes I don't necessarily cut perfectly around this line. So what I do to hide the line is I glue things face down on the other side. And then that gets rid of those dark lines. So instead of gluing this way, where now the lines are visible, and I may have not cut the lines, you know, equally, all around, I just flip it and then it gets rid of the lines and I don't have to worry about lines. So that's what I'm going to do, and that's what we do next. We're going to, and I'm going to flip my tree around. I suggest you guys do the same to so that you guys don't see lines. Is we're going to glue our tree and glue it all the way down onto our white cardstock. So let's flip our tree line side up. And let's put glue all over our tree and our branches. You might want to put old newspaper or a tablecloth down because you might get glue onto your surface. And I'm not going to be too concerned with that because I'm going to wipe down my surface later. But if you have several siblings, sisters, or brothers that are doing this, might be a good idea to put down some newspaper or a tablecloth. So let's go ahead and put our glue all over our branches. Make sure you put a nice thick layer so your branches glue on all the way and don't, you know, pull off your paper. Oop. Okay, I'm almost out of glue, so I'll just use this little bit that I have left. Okay, and then let's go ahead and stick it on our paper. I'm going to put it over on this side because I have glue all over my desk. So I'm going to stick it over here. Kind of try and center your tree so it's in the center of your paper. So there is mine. I'm going to put some pressure so it sticks down. Just like so. Then I'm going to go ahead and grab a wipe and clean this glue off so that our paper doesn't stick to our surface. Make sure I get all the glue off my table. And if you want to take a second to hit pause and clean up your surface, you're more than welcome to. Then let's go ahead and dry off. Okay. And now what I'm going to glue next are, I think I'm going to glue my flowers. So I'm going to grab some flowers and kind of put them on where I want them, in the spots that I want them on my tree. I'm going to place them kind of everywhere, basically. And I'm going to fill in the bald spots, so I'm not going to be too concerned that they're floating in the air because I eventually will fill out my tree with more things. So I want to put some, kind of scatter them in different places. Let's see, where else can I put some? How about there? Maybe one over here. So I'm going to glue them just like that, in that position. I'm going to grab some and put it directly on my sequins, not on my paper, because it's not going to hold. Put a nice thick layer. This is tricky. You might get glue all over yourself, so FYI. Okay. Alright, I'm going to swap out my glue stick because this is on the very tail end and it's coming out. So I'm going to swap it for a fresh one. There we go. I'm going to grab my next one. Put glue on it. Go ahead and set it down. Pick up my next one. And I'm going to continue to do this to all my flowers. So I'm going to go ahead and speed through this because this is going to take a little bit while I glue all of these bits on. So I'm going to go ahead and speed through this gluing process and get back to you guys when I'm done gluing these little flowers on. Alright, so our flowers are done, and I found that the best method for sticking them on is placing a layer of glue onto the back of the sequins and then adding a little bit of glue on your paper too, and so then the glue on both ends attach, and that seems to be the easiest for them sticking. If you get glue stick all over your hands, just rub your hands together and keep rubbing. It'll eventually dry the glue out and like kind of roll it off, and then just kind of smack your hands a little bit and it should fall off. So that's a good way of getting it off. All right, next we're going to do some buttons. So I'm going to grab a few buttons that are somewhat on a bigger size. It might be easier to place on there. And I'm going to grab different colors. I'm going to grab some yellow. I'm going to grab purple. Let's see what other buttons they have that are kind of biggish. I'm going to grab an orange. Here's like a little coral color. We have a red one right there. Another orange. Oops. Right. I'll just use this one. And we have a green. We have another green right here. Oh, this is a little wonky though. No, it's going to be a little bit hard to stick. So let's pick a different green. Let's see if we can find a green that's flat and we can use. Nope, I don't see that. But we have a couple blue. So let's use some blue. And let me see if I can find a pink. This looks nice. We'll use this pink. That pink one. And let's see. We have another orange one. That's a nice size. And another pink. So let's go ahead and use those. And I have a blue one too that's kind of bigger. Go ahead and do those, because the smaller the button, the harder it's going to be to stick on. So we want to kind of have it be a nice size button so that, you know, you don't have to struggle to try and glue it onto your paper. So let's go with those. I think that should be enough buttons to glue on our tree for now. I can't find any more green ones that are bigger, a bigger size. I found this one, so let's do this one. All right, so now let's put glue on our buttons and place those where we want them on our tree. So let's go ahead. We'll do the same method we did with the sequins. We'll put some glue on the back of our buttons and try to use the side that's flat, because some buttons are kind of dented on top, but if you flip them, they're a little flatter on the bottom. So let's look for that side that doesn't have the dent and is flat. So let's put some glue right here on the bottom of our button, and then I'll place it, a little bit of glue where I want it, and oh, that seems to work very well. Okay, we'll keep doing that, putting glue on the bottom of our buttons, and then placing them where we want them. Okay, those might be a little bit harder to stick because they're so big. And don't worry if you have some little extra glue on there, because it dries clear, so it's okay. Make sure we have some glue on our button, and I want to place it over here. Put a little bit of glue there. So now what I'm going to do is start filling it in with the tissue paper. So I'm going to grab my tissue paper, my different shades of green, and I'm going to grab a few squares of different colors, different shades, make my tree look interesting. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that crayon that we had, I said for you to grab so you can use, or maybe pencil bottom. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my crayon into the center of the paper and wrap the tissue paper around the crayon. Then I'm going to use that flat bottom, put it onto the glue, and then I'm going to stamp it down. Make sure you have enough glue on your bottom of your crayon. Nice thick layer. And then I'm going to stamp it down where I want that to be, and it's going to sit like that. So then we're going to do that with all of our tissue paper and place it in all the branches and buttons in between the, the flowers to fill out our tree. So do another one, wrap, put glue on the bottom, just like so. And we're going to continue to do that until we fill our tree. Make it all nice and full. And now it's starting to shape out. Again, we're going to grab a square of tissue paper, put our crayon bottom right in the center. We're going to wrap our tissue paper around it. And then we're going to place glue on that bottom. And then we're going to stamp it down to our tree, just like so. So, to fill out this tree, it's going to take a while, so I'm going to speed through this. If you need to hit pause so that you can do the same thing, go ahead and hit pause, and then hit play when you're ready to take in the next step. So let's go ahead and start filling in our tree. Alright guys, so I did most of the tissue paper off camera because it took a really long time. So here is our tree fully filled out with our tissue paper, and then of course our buttons and our flowers are in there too, as you can see. So next what we're going to do is embellish, and I have some foam stickers left over from last year for spring. So I'm going to go ahead and punch that grass out. Might just have to pull the excess foam off because it might have not punched all the way through. So let's peel this off and get that extra pieces of grass out. So only the pieces of grass we want are left. And I am going to put that down here. Line it up with my paper edge. I have a little spillage, which is okay because I can just trim that piece of grass that's going over, like so. And then I'm going to trim the end on this side too, so that my other pieces line up. I'm going to do that. I'm going to grab my other pieces of grass that I have. This other one, actually that's a full piece, so I'm going to go ahead and grab that, pull that out. I am going to cut this straight so it goes straight against my other grass. I'm going to have to fix this one because it is not straight, so I want to make sure I kind of lift it a little bit and make sure that it is a straight cut. There we go, as much as possible. And then I'm going to glue this end across. And again, I'm going to make sure that this end is straight before I lay it down for my next piece of grass. Just like so. And then I have another little piece that is smaller, and I'm going to use that one, and I'm going to make sure that this piece again is straight, and then I'm going to pull it off. You can get these foam stickers at Michael's. They usually, before the season starts, like whether it's Easter or spring, they'll have like a 30% off sale or 40% off sale. And you can get them then, or you can also wait until it ends, and then they're like, you know, 80% off or 70% off or whatnot, and then you can stock up on them for next year. So I'm going to put this right here, and it went over a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and cut my end off. That went over, just like so. Alright, next, what I'm going to do is I have a little bird. So what I can do is just have a little bird right here hanging out. I don't think he's small enough to put on the ends because he's going to be hanging off. So I think I'll just put him right here. I'm going to take my foam sticker backing off. I'm going to put him right there. Actually, you know what? We can make him standing on the grass, actually. Go ahead and make them stand on the grass, just like so. And I also have this little bee cut out foam sticker, so let's put that right over here. And if you want, you could also use crayons or markers and fill in the blank spaces by drawing things, you know, flowers or whatnot. It's up to you. I think I'm happy with the way it is now, so I'm just going to leave it. But if you want, you can embellish it further with more stickers, drawings on it. Like I said, you could use all sorts of stuff to fill in your tree. Tissue paper, buttons, sequins, colored macaroni, fabric flowers, yarn, pom-poms, just about anything. So this is what our spring tree looks like. You can see grass and stickers, and that's what it looks like on the inside. I made one from last year, and I put it in a file cabinet, so the little tissue paper got mushed. So this is what that looks like after it's been And this, I added different things. I added buttons and these little round sequins in the tissue paper. I didn't add the sequins flowers on this one, but after I smushed it, that's kind of what it looked like. And for this one, I colored in grass with crayon for this one. So here's one from last year, and this is all with the tissue paper smushed already. So here are our 2 examples. If you guys enjoyed this craft, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit the notification bell on our channel to let you know when we upload our next video. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more videos like these, and also bilingual, Spanish, rock and roll story time, and toddler story time. We do everything. All right, guys, I will see you next time. Stay safe. Bye.